As far as injuries go, Noah's not injured, but he's sick. And then Bolton is still recovering from the ankle sprain. So other than that, everybody else will practice. We elevated a couple guys, Matt Dickerson and Montreal Washington, put Prince down because of a quad tear there. And then we have a couple of practice squad receivers that we signed on. So we look forward to the challenge, playing the Jets, good football team. We know that. One of the best defenses in the National Football League, and an offense that's growing. So we got to stay on top of our game. Special teams, I think, is ranked number one in a lot of categories right now this season. So we'll start the practices today and make sure we detail our work going forward. They're also well coached. I mean, Robert does a real nice job with the team, and Nathaniel, we know, is a brilliant guy offensively, and Jeff Albrecht is a very good defense coordinator. So they're fully loaded on the coaching staff, and they've got good players. So we just can make sure we put the work in this week. With that, time's yours.
Andy, who was, I couldn't understand the first guy you mentioned, the guy who's sick today?
Noah.
No, great. Okay, all right.
There's only one Noah. Well, I guess there's two.
It goes to 53 to find him.
Yep.
Montreal Washington, you talked about bringing him up.
Yeah.
Any chance you can get him involved as a receiver yet, or is right now, is he just a kick guy?
Yeah, we're working him in there. He takes a practice reps, so we'll just see how that goes. I mean, he's new to that, so his main focus was returner, but he can do both.
You expecting Richie James back at some point this year?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Andy, with the Jets' defensive line, with Quinn Williams, just the challenge of facing them and just how they've been so good so far this year, at least one unit on that team's been good.
Yeah, well, he's a fantastic player. All pro. He's young and explosive and kind of wreaks havoc inside. Now, he's not the only one. So they've got really two full lines, 8 guys, and you probably could add a couple of rushers outside, so 10 guys that bring it. And they're going to throw fastballs at you. So it'd be a good challenge for our offensive line.
Andy, going back to the injuries, you say Prince had a tear in his quad?
Yeah, quad tear. Yeah.
Is there a plan for who's going to back up Juwan now?
Yeah, we're working on that right now. But we're going to have, we'll get all that. Yeah, we're working through it.
Quad tear is pretty serious. Is that out for the year? Is that an easy assumption for that one, or what would you say?
We'll see. You guys are asking me these things. I'm having me predict the future on these. I don't know that. So we'll just see how it goes. Yeah.
When it comes to the O-line, we focused a lot on Juwan, but just as a whole, it's a little different with the tackles this year. How have you felt like it's been through these games so far?
Yeah, he's done good, with the exception of the penalty part of it. So.
I mean, more so the line as a whole with the new tackles, just through 3 games. What do you think?
Yeah, well, when you're getting a lot of yards in a game, normally your line's doing okay, and the tackles are part of that. So, can we get better along there? Absolutely. But that's all of us in there. So, we got to. But there've been a lot of yards and a lot of throws and so on. So, but we've had games where we've shot ourselves in the foot and haven't scored, and that's kind of the most important thing.
Andy, you mentioned the Jets defensive line. Their defensive backs, Sauce Gardner and DJ Reid, they play with a lot of confidence. What are you saying from them?
Yeah, they're very good. They're aggressive. They play quite a bit of man coverage. So, and both the corners play well in man, and their safeties likewise. They got good nickels, dime. They'll play some dime in there too, and they're all pretty good. Now, Sauce is, he's a special guy, but they're all very good coverage guys.
Andy, was Kadarius completely healthy on Sunday? Is that just your decision for his small snap count?
Yeah, I just didn't want to push the toe on the thing. I mean, we started him off, and then I backed off him. That thing had swollen up, and we got the swelling down. I kind of wanted to end the game with it that way, so.
Andy, with either you, both you and Patrick, as his salary goes up, he's more and more a part of what you do, and I know he's grown as a player. Do you have to coach a little bit different to protect him? Do you do more, knowing how much and how much you would lose with him, and do you coach him differently to maybe get the ball out even a little bit sooner? Don't take any risks. Is there an evolution there with both you and him?
Yeah, so I think, as time's gone on, he's done that. He's getting it out a little bit faster, more on time. Then the more, with the new receivers, the more he gets used to those guys, then it'll increase more as we go through this season. So, and we do enough movement stuff where we move the pocket. I think that's important. That's all part of this offense, not a secret. So all that stuff's important too.
Coach, it was revealed on films that on Kelsey's touchdown, he was supposed to run a corner and instead went inside. Just, I guess, what's your reaction to that, and how many years does it take to say, okay, you're cool to break off your route?
Yeah, well, as long as he and Pat are on the same page, when you're walled, then we give him some flexibility there. So, yeah, he's had a few of those.
Andy, obviously, defense is a work in progress. You want it to get better and better, but I do wonder if you feel in any way pleasantly surprised by what it's done early, and what do you think's enabled that?
I'm not surprised. I just, from what I saw in camp, I mentioned how the zones were tighter and the guys in man coverage were also tighter and doing a nice job. I thought the young guys have, they're growing. They're in the process of growing. The thing you've got to do is you have to do it every week and keep working to get better. These guys have some good receivers, so you're gonna have a good, nice challenge there. But it's again, they'll tell you that they can get better, but they're working their tail off, and I think that's been a big part of it. Spags does a phenomenal job teaching, along with you're talking about the DBs, David and Donald, and then putting them in good positions. But these guys, they're making plays all over. You saw what Tony McDuffie did. I mean, he was in a couple different spots and moving around and did a nice job with it.
One or two things that you think are the reason that it's taken so far the way it has?
So they've worked at it, the fundamentals, techniques, and the different guys seeing it. They've been able to see it. And then your D-line, there's some young guys there that have gotten some experience and are playing better. So just with the experience. So that always makes the back end, it helps them.
Coach, the Jets obviously had kind of the rug pulled out from under early in the first game with Aaron going down. I know you're not in their meetings or anything, but on film, are you seeing like the kind of spirit you'd expect to see, attitude from their team? They don't look like they've packed it in or anything, right?
No, they won the game,
Yeah.
So they, we'll be ready, for the best. I mean, that's what we anticipate getting there. And they're at home, and they've got talent. So we've just we have to make sure we buckle down and, work like crazy this week. Take care of what we can take care of.
Couple more guys.
There's only been a handful of guys as receivers who've had big years for you as a rookie in your offense, like Deshaun and Jeremy, Reggie Brown, Tyreek. Is there something about Rashid's makeup that tells you that he can kind of be in that category too?
Yeah, I mean, he's growing again in front of us here. He's one of the young guys but he looks like he's getting more on the same page with Pat. Pat spends a lot of time with him, and and he wants to. He's got the right attitude. He wants to be good, and so it's consistency. So he'd had a nice game. He's coming off a nice game now. Now present it again and take another step this week. That's the attitude you've got to have, and he seems to have that.
Last three will Aaron, Sam, and then sorry.
From a play caller's perspective, obviously their quarterback's still trying to gain some confidence. How do you instill that? How do you give confidence to a quarterback that's kind of a shaky ground, if you will?
Yeah, listen, Nathaniel, he's been doing it a long time, so he played the position and so on. So I'm sure he'll he has his own way of doing it. And we'll get him there. He's a BYU guy. I mean, come on.
Same.
And Andy, what do you think of just what Jared McKinnon's been able to do at his age? Obviously, the injury is he's gone through.
Yeah, no, amazing guy, great attitude, and works like crazy. So even in meetings, he's doing some stretching or doing something there to make sure he's good to go. He's survived 10 years of running back in this league. That's a long time, dog years. Yeah.
Last one, sir.
Coach, I know you want to win every game, right? So you'd like to be 3-0 and not 2-1 here. But last week the Cowboys were getting all the hype. This week the Dolphins are getting all the hype. Do you kind of like, you've had plenty of weeks where you're the team getting all the hype. Do you like kind of maybe not being the team that's up front, maybe not being the one that all the talks about?
Yeah, I don't. I don't listen to all that noise that goes on. So I mean, this is most of the media I get is right here. So I don't read stuff. I don't look at the TV stuff or listen to it. I don't do all that. So
Team though, did they?
yeah. But you're asking me, so I don't know that. I don't really get caught up in it. I don't talk about that. It takes so much time to get ready for a team, and in the NFL, and so you don't have time for all that other stuff. I mean, I know it's used out there and that, but if you do this thing right, you're just every minute you get, you exhaust on the opponent, and you see coaches working along there. You see these players carrying these iPads all over the place. When they're in the training room, they're looking at them. They go home, they look at them, and if you're going to be good, that's what you've got to do that. You have to dedicate that. So then you don't have time for the other stuff.
All right, thanks.
All right, guys.
Hey, Patrick, Coach said that, you work a lot with Rasheed off to the side and everything. You talk to him just about coming along. What are some of the things that you guys are working on as far as, getting on the same page?
Yeah, I think you see in this offense, there's so much freedom to kind of throttle and set down versus come out of breaks. And I think just that little stuff like that. You saw he did a good job of that this last week in those zone coverages, catching the ball, getting vertical and stuff like that. I thought on the third down one, he maybe could have hit it in a little bit faster, but that's the stuff that we're working on. And you see Travis do it so well, and you've seen guys in the past do it so well. You just have to keep working on that stuff because they have to be seeing the same thing you're seeing out there on the field.
On the touchdowns that Travis, it was reeled in films, he went off his route. Just what tells you, like, away in the moment, wait a second here.
People ask me that, like Blaine asked me that, and I don't know why. I just kind of understand when he's going to do some stuff that he's not really supposed to do. There is times in practice where we were thinking about making a call for that, for when we get that look, for him to get him to run that route. And I remember with the coaches, I just said, I don't know why we need a call. He's going to do it anyways. And so, of course, he does it, and it's a touchdown. He has a good understanding of the whole entire concept. He understands the coverages. And it takes a lot of reps, and I've just kind of developed that trust that whenever I'm seeing it one way, he's going to do it that way.
When do you think you got there with him? How long ago was it?
I think it was in that first Super Bowl run. There was a couple times throughout the game where I threw some balls that he adjusted his route, and I threw it kind of before he even did it, just kind of knowing him. And I think it just took a couple of years of just working with him and continue to do stuff. And we got a feel. Not only did I get a feel for how he runs routes, but you got a feel for how I was seeing stuff. And so just that combination of stuff, I think, developed that connection where we can kind of go off the radar screen and kind of develop some stuff that's not necessarily called.
Patrick, obviously you don't study your defense like you study opponents' defenses, but I do wonder what you think has enabled its success so far. And you made a point after Jacksonville to say they won the game. What is it? Has anything surprised you, or you particularly taken note of?
Yeah, I would hate playing our defense, and obviously the players. They're deep at every single position right now. But the scheme and how they execute it, that's why I always say after training camp, I'm like, all right, now we can get back to regular season where I can focus on just the couple coverages that I'm going to see or the little change up here and there. Versus our defense, it's like every single play, you never know what to expect, and I think that's hard for offenses to go against. And then having a defense that, I mean, a lot of these guys have came back for the second year now or multiple years, and they have an understanding of what Spags and why he's calling stuff and what he wants. I think that's what makes it so special, and I think they're going to continue to grow and continue to get better with more and more reps.
Are those the reasons you think it's sort of taken an earlier jump than his defenses often have in the past? That it's a little bit of continuity. And
Yeah, I mean, you said it. Just those guys coming back another year in the defense, adding even more talent to it. A lot of young guys that played last year, and you could tell they were kind of probably playing a little faster than their mind was kind of comprehending. And then now you can feel they're very comfortable. They can just be themselves, let their talent show. That's what makes Spags' defense so good is he gives them freedom to adjust on the fly, and they're doing a great job of doing that at a high level.
Patrick, what are you seeing from the Jets defense? When you look at them, first of all, is there an after effect of not having Aaron there? And then second of all, what are you seeing from a talented group like this that you're preparing for?
Yeah, I mean they're really good. They're really good. They're deep in the D line, but they're deep everywhere. Really, they have DBs, they have linebackers. We have a lot of respect for them, and we know that I'm about to try to prevent myself from negative plays. Just take those easy, positive plays, and if you get the opportunity to take a shot, take it. But if it's not there, you got to continue to just drive and grind out points in this game, and that's a really good defense. It'll be a great challenge for us.
Patrick, specifically those DBs, Sauce Gardner, DJ Reed, what are you seeing from them? I know they play pretty aggressive.
Yeah, I think Reed got me in college for like a pick six. So I know he's good at reading and recognizing routes. And then Sauce obviously had a great year this last year and is going to continue to get even better and better. And so I mean they have a good group. I mean the safeties are good. They had to rotate another safety in this last week. He played good ball. And they know that their D line's good, so they know when they can kind of jump and make plays happen. And so it's a good unit. You can tell they've been together for a year or two now, and they understand what their concept, their defense is, and where they can be kind of a little bit weaker, and they know how to like execute at that level. So it's going to be a great challenge for us, especially our young guys. And I'm excited for it.
Talking about not wanting to play against, y'all's defense, some offensive linemen said, I wouldn't want to play against our run concepts, and the run was much effective against Chicago. Just how much does the run aid you in your progression in offense?
Yeah, I mean, I think we knew in the building especially that we needed to get the run game going. Everybody talks about the offense and how much we've thrown over the past, but you always see when we're at our best is when we're running the football. And so we're going to try to continue to do that. Obviously, it'll be a great challenge against this defensive line and linebacking group. But we'll try to continue to establish the run. And once you establish the run, it opens up everything. And so we got a good running back room and a good offensive line, so we want to try to make sure that we keep that progressing in the right direction.
We'll go across the room, starting with Saran. Go ahead.
Patrick, I know the Eagles have been very successful with their, tush push or whatever you want to call it, that play. I know why you guys don't do it, but I just wonder what's your reaction when you see it. They're not only really effective, but it seems to really jack their team up and be kind of like part of their personality. I mean, they're the only one that does it. 31 other teams. Like, what's your reaction? What do you guys talk about when you see them have that kind of success? And what goes into that play?
Yeah, I mean, they're obviously it's an advantage for them. I mean, but you see other teams in the league try to do it, and they can't do it as well as they do. It speaks to their offensive line. It speaks to their quarterback. They know how to do it at a really high level, and they've practiced it and worked on it. I think as you've seen now, I mean, other teams have tried to kind of manipulate and do that different type of stuff, and it might get the first down, but it's not as pretty and as powerful as when the Eagles do it. So. I mean, all to them, man. They've kind of mastered something that I think other teams are going to try to do as best they can.
Sam?
When you mentioned that Reed got you in college, is that just something that you remember from that long ago? Have you been reminded about it at all since?
I mean, it's just I don't throw a lot of pick sixes, and he had a pick six, so you remember it. I mean, he's a great player, so I know. But that's stuff that you realize because I mean that's route recognition. That's jumping the ball, making a play. And so that's stuff that you really have to be aware of whenever you're going out there and playing quarterback.
Do you remember the specific play and everything?
Yeah, I do. I do. It was. I think he was supposed to get blocked by a receiver. He jumped it before the receiver could get there and went to the house.
We'll go Aaron, then Todd. Go ahead, Aaron.
I know you're going to be a little busy with the Renaissance tour with Beyonce coming in. Have you followed it? Have you seen any clips? Maybe the Mute Challenge. Have you heard of that?
I have not seen that. I've seen some videos of the tour. It looks amazing. The stage is like as big as the field. Brittany was upset the date got changed because she's going to come to the game, so she's not going to be able to go to the concert. But it's going to be amazing for Kansas City to be able to have that big of an event. And Arrowhead's going to do it right because it's going to be an amazing atmosphere.
Tom? Maybe we'll stay on the non-football part. We talked to you after the game. I know this Taylor Swift, Travis Kelce stuff's gone wild. You said you hadn't gotten to meet her yet. Did you get her to this after party? Did you meet Taylor Swift? What do you think of this whole thing?
Yeah, I met her. She's really cool, good people. But like Travis said, man, I'm gonna let them have their privacy and just keep it moving.
Okay, thanks, Patrick.
All right, guys. We got
Hi, Drue Tranquill.
And how are you?
How are you?
I'm so good.
Drew, everybody's been raving about the Chiefs' defense, how this defense has really come out of the blocks hot and on fire. Can you just talk a little bit about each week? And I mean, even when Nick Bolton was in there, you stepped in, everything. You guys are really playing at a different level than we have seen, and Patrick's giving you guys all the kudos. Talk to me a little bit about how that happened so quickly. You guys have all, are doing so well. Tell me some of the reasons for that you see in practice and camp.
Well, I think I love the saying, it goes speed of the leader, speed of the pack, and I think it starts with Spags, obviously. But we've got great player leadership as well. Guys with experience in this system. And so when you have guys, I think they had a lot of young guys playing, a lot of rookies last year. So you got guys second year in the system, older guys who have experience in the system. And when you can kind of create that cohesiveness in terms of communication, I think you get a real good chance to play some good football.
Go ahead. You weren't a guy with experience in the system, but obviously it's been stated often since you got here that you hit the ground running with it. What do you suppose has enabled you to get so up to speed so fast?
Well, I mean, I've been playing football since I was 5 years old. I think it's just my experience playing the game, being my 5th year in the NFL, playing in a variety of systems, during my time in LA. And so I think just that experience has probably helped me, pick it up. And I got great guys in my room that have helped a lot too.
Calling the plays in practice and training camp, I'm sure, is one thing, and a whole other thing for the game with Nick out. Just how did it go, positives and negatives, and in your mind?
Yeah, as a defense, away games tend to be a little bit easier. In Arrowhead's very, very loud, and so it was a challenge for me in my first time calling the signals, calling the game for the full time. You got to be good with your hand signals. So not only do you have to know verbally the checks and the communication, you have to know them all via sign language, via hand signals to get to the guys. And so it was a challenge. It was a good challenge, and we played well.
So Nick on the sideline with the headset, how much did he help you in game?
I mean, Nick's a very, very good linebacker. He sees the game really well, and so he was able to give tips, pointers, and reminders, throughout the game that really helped me out there.
Drew, how much, I know the game's kind of in some ways bled across, right? Like the middle linebacker does a lot of things that the outside linebacker does, but you seem to be able to switch back and forth. How difficult is that to be adept both inside, outside, or has the game kind of made it, even in your 5 years, as you pointed out, is it maybe those positions kind of blend together?
Yeah, my last 2 years in Staley's system, we kind of were interchangeable a little bit. And so as the Mike, obviously you're dropping off 3 a lot more. The outside backers playing off 2, playing quarter flat, seam flat technique. So I was able to play both of those techniques. So I think, being able to do that's been able to allow me to play Mike in the system, allows me to play Buck and Will, allows me to play Sam. And so, again, that football experience, I think, has helped with that.
Drew, from the time you signed, you were part of the Chargers culture, you kind of come here to Kansas City. What has it been like for you being in the Chiefs culture kind of week in and week out and seeing how they operate and why they have the success?
Yeah, I really love it here. I really love the people here. I love the competitive culture, everything about it. Everything about it here is about winning. And as a player with dreams and aspirations to win, the highest honor, which is the Super Bowl, it's really cool to be a part of a culture that is driven towards that has done that, and that looks to do that in the future.
Super early here, obviously, but it's only a one-year deal. Have you told your agent about some of those things that you like about Kansas City so
Yeah,
far?
he knows I love it here.
Drew, when you look at the Jets, we were expecting Aaron Rodgers, finally the big Aaron Rodgers versus Mahomes. What do you see that is different now since he's not there? And what are you kind of preparing for with the Jets?
Yeah, I think when you look at the Jets, right, you've got a defense that is outstanding. You've got special teams that are outstanding. They win the game week 1 versus Buffalo on special teams with that punt return. And then you've got an offense who's entering the season, right, with a quarterback kind of in the driver's seat, developing a system around him, and then boom, 4th play of the game. They have to totally pivot to a quarterback with totally different skill sets, totally different experience. And so, they're in a position where they're trying to find that identity on offense. And we got to go in there and play consistent defense. We can't allow them to get that footing. They've got really, really good personnel, offensive line, at receiver, running backs. And so they're going to be a challenge, and we're going to have to defend them for 4 quarters or however long the game goes. And it's going to be a good one.
Drue, you've spoken a lot about chess over your lifetime. How much has chess helped you play the game of football?
So you obviously go into every game with like a game plan. I think I maybe touched on this a little bit in training camp, but everybody has a game plan, and then it most certainly and most often does not go according to plan. And so the other team, the opponent does something that you weren't expecting. And a lot of times that's how chess goes. You have an opening, you have something you have to adjust mid-game, you have to adjust end-game to try and win the thing. Fun fact, Wes Schweitzer, who's one of their offensive linemen, I played him in the first round of the Chess.com Blitz Champs back in the summer. So it'll be cool to see him, but funny thread there.
You probably got a chance to play with Chris Jones. What's it like playing linebacker behind a guy like that?
He's just so disruptive. Offenses are constantly trying to account for him. Protections are constantly schemed towards him, and so it gives you the opportunity to get one-on-one with the back a lot of times in protection. It allows you to kind of run through gaps sometimes when the offensive line is so concerned about him, and so he's a great asset to have on your defense. He's a great teammate too.
Drue, this is kind of a general question. I know you've been in the Chargers. You had a couple of years ago, it was going for 4th downs. They made a big deal of it. So I know you've been through that, but just the 4th down overall, when teams go for it, people say, "Well, does he have any confidence in his defense or not?" That's what the fans say. They worry about that. You're a defensive guy. Like if your team does or doesn't go for 4th down with the offense on a certain time, does that send any message to you guys, or are you too busy worrying about, like you just said, the changes in the chess match, and when it's your turn to run out there, you run out there, or is it play a mental game?
I think there's 2 sides of the coin. I think you always believe in yourself as a defense that you're going to go out there and get that stop. I think you also believe in your offense to get a yard or get 6 inches or get whatever it's going to be. And so as a player, honestly, you're not thinking about it too much. You're not thinking like, wow, the coach doesn't believe in us or anything like that. You're just doing whatever you can and trusting that your head coach is going to make the right decision in that moment. That's what he's paid to do. And I know certainly here, whatever decision Andy makes, going forward on 4th and 25 versus Detroit, like, we're all in. Like, this guy's won Super Bowls. This guy knows what he's doing. And so he's going to make the best decision for a football team.
Couple more.
Drue, with being in a couple of games now with Steve Spagnuolo, what's kind of the fun parts of operating and kind of running in the system?
Well, I love Spags. It's just he's even keel. He's neither high nor low. He's just constant. He's steady. You know what you're getting with him. The in-game adjustments, the halftime adjustments are brilliant. They're quick. They're easy. They're digestible in terms of as a player trying to go in and make second half adjustments. And so I've just loved how smooth the operation is. The communication's oiled up. It's really good. And it's just been really effective through 3 games.
Thank you, everybody.
Yeah, thanks, guys.
See you.
All right, guys, go for Isiah.
Isiah, when you hear things like they want to establish a run game, run game, that's you to a T, man. How appreciative are you that you hear things like that and that's helping you guys go to where you want to be?
That was the first time I heard things like that. But for me, whatever the coaches have schemed for us within the week, just focus on that and lock in and hit it 100 miles per hour.
How was it like on Sunday, knowing that you guys were utilized more as a running back group?
It was fun, just being out there competing with one another. It was fun, and for us, just building the whole unit as you see us playing out there. You can see we're coming together.
What was the frustration level the first 2 games?
Just kind of just playing with each other, getting used to one another, just building that bond in the locker room as well. There's no once we get upset, just find a way to get better.
there's kind of a phrase, you don't know what you don't know, right? And when you're a rookie, you're kind of in that spot. Everyone talks about the pass blocking and the protections and getting out of the routes. Like now you've been around, you kind of know what you didn't know. How much more diverse and well-rounded are you as a running back than now? You know, in this second year, having had all the experience you've had now.
That comes with it, and for me, just being able to have trust in my my game, and that's going out there and listening to Pat and the coaches and whoever makes the call. For me, just playing fast and showing them that I know my job 100%, and it's fun when you're out there making plays.
About 29 miles between Rutgers and MetLife. What's it gonna be like going back up there, man, playing close to home?
It's going to be fun. A lot of people coming from back home, but for me, just eliminate distractions and focus on the task and get the job done.
How many tickets you have to get?
Just 5. Yeah.
Violent South Jersey, right?
Yes, sir.
You guys, so you guys weren't like Jets fans or anything like that?
Eagles fans.
Eagles.
Yeah.
Hey, I know there's a little bit of a competition going on between you guys with touchdown celebrations. Jarek did kind of a high step at the 45. You had your thing, and then Clyde will do the traditional gritty. The competition in dancing, when you guys get to the end zone like that, especially the day where all 3 of you guys find end zone, what's that like? And you try to just best each other every week?
Oh yeah, it's fun. Going through the scheme, going through the script before the game, seeing who's going to be in and who gets down there first, and who's going to hit the first dance move. For us, Jet said he was going to be the first one, and he did it. So for me, as a brother, teammate, just proud of him and proud of the way we're working and just build off of it.
How much practice is involved in that stuff?
A lot. Just focusing on it because when I go out there and I'm practicing my dance move, because when I'm in there and I'm about to score, I'm like, oh, what am I to do? What am I to do? But you know what I'm saying? Gotta get in the end zone first.
Thinking about dancing before you get in the end zone?
What dance move I'm gonna do? Yeah.
No way.
Yeah.
Hey, what was the level of satisfaction all 3 of you guys got in the end zone?
That it felt like practice, like I said, and for us, we're just trying to get a hat trick, and it's gonna come soon, and we just gotta keep working at it and day by day.
Jets defense. Coach has been talking about it, Patrick's been talking about it. You look at it, it's formidable. So what do you see? I know you're not going to tell all your tricks of the trade, but just what do you see when you see the Jets defense and some of the things that maybe you guys can take advantage of?
Up front, defensively, I see a lot of hardworking guys, and they're determined. And for us, just go out there and follow what coaches have planned for us and execute.
Run right up the gut.
Execute.
A couple more.
Yeah, Isiah, for you, I got stuff for your high school coach back around the Super Bowl there. He just kind of talked about the journey you went on and just how you kind of pushed your team and your teammates over the years, earning that spot from quarterback to, at a younger age. For you, kind of putting yourself on the map last year, what are you trying to do this year? What's the goal that you're trying to prove to everybody else out there in the field?
That I'm a all well-round player and team player, and whatever coach has for me to do, I'm gonna be that guy to help the team and whatever aspect it is. And like I said, I'm leading and I'm ready to keep leading. That's difference.
Thanks, guys.
So what yard line do you start thinking about?
When I'm getting